Okay, so this is part two of why did I quit my job. I did not realize that that first video was going to be so long, so I will try my best to wrap this one up. So where I left off was I reported her about 3 weeks ago, maybe like a month ago, and then last week I get my last and final write-up. And what I was saying was that, you know, even with all of that, I was still trying to figure out what I was gonna do. But because I was having so many GI issues, I realized that, I couldn't keep putting my health on the back burner. And so I made a doctor's appointment. And I told her about this doctor's appointment, and I said, hey, I have a doctor's appointment on Monday that I have to go to. And she said, oh, I'm sorry, but you don't have any PTO. And, your coworker put in PTO with enough time in advance, and she's not going to be in Monday morning. And I said, well, I just figured I was just doing during my lunch break. And then she was like, all right, well, let me talk to whoever the fuck she needed to talk to. And I was like, okay. So about an hour passes by, and I message her on Teams, and I'm like, hey, so, what's going to happen with that? And she's like, hey, can you step back into my office for a moment? So I go, and she says, hey, unfortunately, I am going to have to deny that request for you to go to the doctors on Monday. I just don't have the coverage. Now, mind you, I worked for a pretty big company and various different locations. Every single location that I've seen who have the front desk managers, they are the coverage. She just didn't want to do the work. She was just always big on delegating. So that's why she told me that, she didn't have the coverage. And I was like, well, I just don't understand why I can't just do it during my lunch. And she's like, oh, well, because technically that's not during lunch hours, because my appointment was at 11:20. And she was like, plus you need to drive there and you need to drive back. And she was like, I know that you spoke to the HR director, and, you have until July 1st to get your ADA and FMLA paperwork filled out. I said, even though that is important, I have other health issues that are pretty pressing that I need to go to the doctor for. And she's like, oh no, I'm not denying you to go to the doctor. I'm just saying that you can't go on Monday. You're just going to have to reschedule. Now, y'all know how hard it is to get a doctor's appointment. Not only is it hard to get a doctor's appointment, but it's even harder to reschedule. And at that point, she made my decision for me. I was like, not only am I not going to give you the satisfaction of firing me, but I'm going to that doctor's appointment. And I'm quitting. So I showed up Monday morning to the main location, and I dropped off all of my equipment, and I returned my badge. And that was it. And to be honest, I couldn't be any happier. I just realized that, especially having ADHD and being autistic, these jobs are they're just never going to give a fuck. They're never going to give a fuck. And I've always had issues with management because of communication, because I'm being told that I'm being insubordinate, because I'm trying to gain clarification, and they're seeing that as being argumentative. I'm over it. So from this point forward, I'm just going to be doing Instacart full time. I'm going to go hard on my TikTok shop, go even harder on giving y'all more content. I actually just ordered my first dry erase board, so I'll be able to put all of my notes and my ideas and schedule myself accordingly so that I can put out my more content for y'all. So yeah, if you've been thinking about quitting a job that absolutely drains the fuck out of you, do it.